Hey, what's cracking, G? That's G as in Gamer. What was you thinking? Today's video is going to be the should you buy review for BloodBorne. Let's get straight into it, guys. Why not? Okay, first of all, I want to put a disclaimer out there right now. This game is extremely long. I did not beat it upon doing this review. However, I did play it for about 20 hours. Now, they say the game is about 40 hours long, but I feel like it's going to be a lot longer for me because I keep having this habit of grinding out in this game. And I also want to play with people, so I think I'm going to play over when I get someone to play with, or I find somebody in particular that we're going to play most of the game. So with that being said, do keep that in mind that this is not an actual full review, but this is just simply a should you buy review based on the 20 plus so hours that I put into the game. The story of BloodBorne is a game taking place in the Goth mythological city called Yarnum, a ruined city that's known for having a cure to plague illnesses. You are a traveler who visits the city in search of one of these medical wonders, something called the medical remedy. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll leave it at that. Bottom line is, you're looking for this remedy, but upon arriving and looking for it as a hunter, you discover that the inhabitants have been turned into some form of monsters, and you have to battle your way through in search of what you look for. The controls for BloodBorne are unique. The layout is very different from a lot of games that I played, so I'm going to talk about this in depth just a little bit. Okay, when you control your character, the way that you fight is traditionally from the triggers, but the way that they're laid out is a little bit funny to me. You have a short form weapon and a long form weapon, and you can use the left bumper to transform that weapon into long form two-handed or short form one-handed. When you're in short form with one hand, you can carry a gun in your left hand and a weapon in your right hand. And I mean by weapon, blade of some type. Now, getting used to changing this weapon is kind of difficult, and it takes a lot of practice. How much depends on, of course, the skill of the player. But I just wanted to note that this is something that, even up to this current moment, after 2 days of playing this game intensively, I'm still a little bit not used to it. I'm still just getting used to that. So keep that in mind, and that makes the game a little bit more difficult when in combat, because you have to remember these functions. Now, when you go into short form, you like to use the L2 bumper to shoot. When you press L1, it's used to transform the weapon, so you can sometimes end up hitting the wrong button, and it becomes a little bit tedious and annoying, and it causes you to die, because if one wrong move or one hit and you're dead in this game. It's that simple. You could slip up one time and have 3 people just killing you instantaneously. So it's a little bit annoying, so you really have to practice and get used to that. That's something I wanted to warn you about with the controller as well. Now, on the right side of the controller, you have the different types of attacks. You have the light attack, which is R1, and you have the heavy attack, which is R2. I'm going to give you guys a little tip and let you know that when you're fighting, get very familiar with pressing R2 and holding it to do a charged attack. It will save your life, and it's something that you will forget about a lot, and it will cause you to die. So keep that in mind, guys, when playing this game. Other than that, you have the simple traditional controls. Buttons. You have your button for your potion, your button for dodging, and buttons for magic, and vice versa. But I did want to get into specifics about these 2 things. The bumpers, you have to get used to those. Other than that, the controls are good. It actually moves a lot more fluidly and smoother than I thought, and faster than I thought, because if you're familiar with other games like Dark Souls, it's not as clunky as that and slow as that, where you feel like you're controlling a tank. The controls are good, but they're very different and have a high learning curve for you to learn. I suggest you guys practice because you will die a lot.
Welcome home, good hunter. What is it you desire? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
Features. BloodBorne has a lot of features. I won't be able to get into everything, of course, but let's just get into some specific things that I've noticed that makes this game different. And you know, you may want to know about jumping into this game, and it may decide if you want to get this game. Okay, when you press the option button, you're greeted with a menu, and this menu has like a breakdown. As you can see on the screen in front of you, you get to choose what kind of items and weapons and magical things you decide to equip your character with. You can heal, you can shoot, you can stab, you can dress him up with different armor. Of course, that's the simple stuff. But then when you get a little bit more further into detail, the feature, he has like his own sanctuary where you can go to and talk to a retired hunter, and you can craft new weapons. You can go to the forge and you can add bloodstones to your weapons and make them more powerful and create new weapons from those. That's one of the cool features in this game. Another cool feature in this game is when you change your armor, you actually see it on your avatar. Your character changes his appearance to match the armor, and the armor of course has different effects, and depending on those effects is how the armor looks. The gothic feel is a great feature in this game, and no matter where you go in the game, you still get that feel. If you're in a castle or you're running through a swamp, it still feels like a goth game. I like that the game looks goth and it's dark, but without being too dark. And people were complaining about that, but that's actually a display thing. You can fix that. You can make it a little bit better. You can make it a little bit brighter. I know some people like the game to be played naturally, but in most of my games, I brighten it anyway because I rather have it look gray than have it look dark. And then I do a little balancing on my display to balance it out. So once again, BloodBorne has a lot of features, and I know I barely touched on anything here, but you do have to understand, I did not beat this game. I put many hours into this game, and I'm still not nowhere near the end. So this is not by any means a full review. This is just me talking about the game and breaking it down and letting you know if you should buy it. The cooperative multiplayer that's available in BloodBorne also will have player versus player modes, which means you will be able to fight against other players. But keep in mind, there's something that you need to know about this feature. When you turn on the online feature in the game, which is prompted to be turned on either by doing something in particular in the game, which I won't spoil, or actually just playing in online mode, people can join your game. But there's actually a funny catch to this as well. There's a mode called invasion mode, where if you play in co-op mode, you're now open to invasion from other players who can come into your game and attack you. That's crazy. Also, when you beat the game, you're invited to play a new Game Plus mode, which has the hard features enabled, and it's pretty damn hard already. I can't imagine this game being any harder than it already is. I mean, wow, I can only imagine. I can't wait to see who's the first person that's going to beat that and post that on YouTube. Kudos to you, and I will be watching. That's an awesome, amazing thing, man. Other features unique to this game that are noteworthy and worth talking about that are, you know, important to buying the game. They added a co-op feature, which is pretty cool. You know, this game is quite difficult, and that's not a secret. But for you to be able to play with somebody else, it makes it that much more fun. Gives you another reason to play the game over if you played by yourself solo. Or it just makes you feel a little bit more comfortable traversing hard and difficult areas in the game. And believe me, having somebody there with you changes the realm of everything. It makes it a lot more fun. So that's one cool feature that needed to be brought up. Another is the boss battles. I mean, these bosses are intense, man, extreme. This is traditional old school video game boss battles like no other. The bosses take up so much of the screen and do so much to the dynamic of the game that it just switches from RPG to straight action, bang, bang, boom, Michael Bay movie flick type cinematics. The game has intense boss battles. When you're fighting characters, you feel like you're fighting bosses, and that's kind of unique. And that's another feature, that these characters have so many different unique movesets and ways to play, and so many different models. But when you fight a boss versus one of those characters, you start thinking, man, is this guy like a boss? No, you know when you're fighting a boss in this game. So please don't get it twisted, man. Definitely, those are some features that needed to be brought up as well. This game has a lot of things to talk about feature-wise that make it unique and noteworthy. This is just some other things you do need to note in this game as well, features-wise. There's a new feature from all the other Souls games. This one encourages you to be very aggressive, and you do not carry a shield. Actually, I've been trying for the longest to figure out how to block. You barely can even do that. You can't do that, actually. You can just parry, which becomes really bad. The only thing I hate about the parry mechanic is if you are near a wall, it is extremely realistic. Think about it like this. If an enemy is attacking you and you back yourself into a freaking corner, well, you're freaking dead. Okay, so keep all these things in mind. I'm giving you guys some warnings in advance when you play this game. This is primarily something that the people who are new to these type of genre games, these action RPG types, like the Souls games, if you haven't played those, this is something you'll be needing to know before heading out there into the wild. Graphics. The graphics in BloodBorne are very unique to PlayStation, and by unique I mean usually when you see a PlayStation exclusive game, it usually has its own set of graphical displays that are unique to that console and give you that feel that, okay, this is why I brought a PlayStation. This game lives up to that. The graphics are top notch. Are they on par with other games? Well, they are. Are they the best I've ever seen? They're up there. I mean, if you play on PC, you'll wonder what this game will look like on PC, and by that I mean 4K. But for a 1080p game, this game definitely is up to par, top-notch graphics wise. You won't find a complaint there. There should be nobody complaining about the graphics. The only complaint a lot of people have with this game, I've actually heard it a little bit, and you know, I don't have that problem because my display is set up so that I can change these kind of issues. But for most people in general, you'll probably not like that it's dark. And of course you expect this game to be dark and gritty, but this game is dark and gritty like goth, really giving you that gothic feel. That's part of the game though, so I didn't have a problem with it. I enjoyed it. I think the graphics are very nice. There's parts where, you know, you're going up ladders and you're climbing and traversing, and when you're doing that, you're like looking in the background just to see what's back there, and you get like this Transylvania appearance in the background where there's like buildings and castles, and you're just looking at all the details and looking in the windows and wondering what's in there, if you could get over there, if that's going to be part of the game. So when you get that into the details and the background and the graphics, that means that this job has done its job and did a good thing. Now, comparable to Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, this game to me is that next new thing, and I think graphically this game is perfect. I can't complain about the graphics. Have I seen better? I would have to think about it. And of course, it's one of those top 3 games, and you know, the other 2 games I've seen that look like this are The Order and Rise, Son of Rome. This game is definitely a pretty game graphically. Can't complain. Just my only thing is, I really wonder what this would look like on PC since it looks so good on PlayStation. It's my only complaint. Wish it was on PC. This is coming from a console guy. Graphics are dope, guys. Overall, BloodBorne is a pretty dope game. I mean, an action RPG like this is really hard to come by. You don't really see a lot of these flooding the market, so when you get a chance to try something like this and it's done as well as this game is, then it's pretty good. I wasn't too particularly fond of the other Souls games, but when I picked this one up and gave it a shot, I actually found it a little bit more appealing than the rest of the other games. Maybe it's due to the faster pace, or maybe it's due to the aggressive playstyle. Either way, I found this game a lot of fun to play. It was very aggravating for the most part, and at some points I really just wanted to stop playing, but I always found myself picking the controller right back up and saying, nah, I gotta pass that part, I gotta do that part over, I gotta do that again. Now with that being said, there's an addiction into actually just playing some of this game over and over. You may have a problem actually keeping yourself from starting your game over, because once you get to a new part and you try it and you beat it, you feel like you can do better and you want to do better, so you want to do it over. Now, there is something in this game I noticed that happens if you play it a lot. You will be penalized for grinding. A lot of these games will reward you for grinding, but in this game, if you do something like that, your weapon's durability will break, and if you repair it, then you lose more durability every time you do so. So this game doesn't actually reward you for grinding, so once again, you'll find yourself wanting to actually restart your whole game and play over. That's a good thing though, because like I said, you'll want to keep playing. I recommend that people buy this game for the simple fact that once you play it, if you like it, which you should actually like it if you like action games or RPG games, this is a mixture of both at its finest. And if you like that, then you're going to want to play this game, and this game has so much to offer and it has a lot of content, so it's actually worth the purchase. I can't see any reason not to actually buy this game unless you don't want to be challenged or you don't want to play a hard game. BloodBorne is a pretty well tight game and put together well. I recommend that you go out right now and purchase this game. If you do not like a challenging game or you want to see the difficulty of the game, maybe you should try it first, but I do highly recommend you buying this game, and if you enjoyed even a little bit of it, you'll be glad that you brought it. It's your boy Jimmybgaming. This is my overall opinion. Final thoughts coming up next. Final thoughts. From Software did a great job with this game. Graphically, the game looks amazing. Gameplay wise, the game is polished pretty well. The game has a lot of content and it's pretty addictive. So when you factor all those things into a game, along with the fact that they even threw in co-op, which is something I couldn't even see really happening in this game, and they added a lot of complexity to that in itself, then why wouldn't you want to get this game? With all the games that's coming out now that's not even living up to half of what this game is offering, I think that this is a dope title. I'm glad I gave it a shot. I'll be looking forward to playing with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed my review. It's your boy Jimmybgaming. I'm out of here, man. Do like, comment, and subscribe if you got to the end of this video and you enjoyed it or it was helpful. Do remember to download the Android app in the description below. I'm out of here, guys. Let's play some BloodBorne together. Game attacks in the description below. Sorry, PC guys, you really missed out on this one. Later.